It's the middle of May, early spring in interior Alaska. The snow is gone. Still a lot of standing water around, but we're at the cabin setting up camp for to start the building season. And I thought for a while that it would be a good idea to talk about what is, in my opinion, one of the most important tools on any homestead, and that is the Homestead truck. So we're going to talk about the Homestead truck today, some features that you might look for, and some features you might want to stay away from. I'm just going to give you my opinions on it, and everybody's got opinions. Comment below with your opinion. So with that said, we're going to talk about Homestead trucks. Stay tuned. To be a Ford F350, a 1-ton, and it's an old slope truck. If you don't live in Alaska, you may not know what that is, but we refer to the oil field Prudhoe Bay as the North Slope. The oil companies use these trucks up north for 2, 3, 4 years, and then they auction them off. So I didn't buy this one at auction. I bought it from the person that did, and it's a crapshoot to buy one at auction like that, because you don't know what you're getting. I got lucky with this one, but some people have been very unlucky buying them, especially right off the auction. One thing that they do up there, they're mostly diesels. This is a year 2000 model, but one thing they do up on the slope is they let them idle for days on end, especially if it's 40 below zero. They don't even shut the truck off. They just park it and it just sits there and idles. So a truck can have very low miles, but it may have been idled for many, many days on end. I don't know how detrimental that is to the engine, but it's just sort of a little bit deceiving. This one has deceivably low miles, 135,000. That's pretty good for a 24-year-old truck. We've had it 7 years, and we only use it for the running back and forth and towing things back and forth to the homestead, but it's not the everyday family car. But start right off with, I'll talk about the configuration. For our needs, we always found that you've got to have a full crew cab, back seat. You've got to be able to seat at least 2 grown-ups in the back. If you have family coming to visit, in our case we were a family of 3, so we always needed a regular back seat. We tried getting away with smaller trucks with a small back seat, and it just doesn't work. So double cab, crew cab, whatever. In Ford they call it a crew cab. Full back seat. You can put 3 grown-ups in this, or 6 grown-ups total in this truck. This one has bench seats even in the front. So one thing I would point out is, with a Homestead truck, my thought is you want simple, you want cheap. You don't want to spend a fortune on a truck that you're bashing into things with, or pulling stumps, or you want to be able to use it as a hammer, and you don't want to go buy a $50,000, $70,000 truck to do that with. So you can pick these up for anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 in pretty good shape, and you pay cash for it. No payments, no interest, just you own it. But in order to do that, a lot of times you'll end up without the creature comforts. This truck has no electric key fob opening. It's old school. I've got to turn the key. I've got to put the key in and turn the key to unlock the truck. Push button locks. It does not have power windows. It has, remember these? If you're over 40, this is what we grew up with right here. Nobody had power locks and power windows, but those have a tendency not to break, and over the long haul, this is more reliable, in my opinion. Electric windows have electric parts, electric wiring, switches, solenoids, motors, all kinds of stuff to go bad. And in a homestead setting, especially in Alaska, where things get really, really cold, those kinds of things tend to not work right. Even the hand crank windows at 40 below zero, they get hard to turn. one of the main things you're doing with your Homestead truck is you're towing. In Alaska, we tow trailers all summer long at least. If you're into winter stuff, you're towing. We tow trailers all the time. I've been up and down the scale from tiny little utility trailers to big flatbed car haulers and gooseneck dump trailers, and your needs change and you change trailers, or sometimes you just end up with a small collection of trailers. And I always joke with beautiful wife over there that in Alaska we need trailers to carry our trailers around. That's how bad we need trailers. But you're towing in Alaska. Tow mirrors. Get a truck with tow mirrors. If you're going to tow anything wide, it needs to be expandable tow mirrors that'll come out far enough so that you can keep an eye on, you know, your trailer. Also, four-wheel drive. Highly recommend. I don't think you could get by without it here. I did for many years back in the 80s. But I ended up stuck a lot. Stuck for hours. So nowadays, four-wheel drive is so much more common. I wouldn't go without it. It's gotten us out of a pickle or two, or kept us from getting into a pickle or two. Let's talk a teeny bit about tires, but this is what I use for a summer tire. It's just a good all-around, all-season tire, but I'm a firm believer in studded snow tires in the winter time. I get the best ones that we can afford, and anytime I buy a different vehicle in Alaska, I get a second set of rims, either off Craigslist or somewhere, and I have studded snow tires put on. Then I just swap it out. You know, I do it myself. I don't have to pay the $70 or $100 to the tire shop to change my wheels over every 6 months. So currently, we just put these on. These are the summer tires, but we do have a second set, a full set of wheels with the tires already mounted, studded tires on them. I wouldn't go any other way. One suggestion, I hate this thing. I hate this. It's probably the thing on the truck I hate the most, this toolbox. The reason I hate it, it's kind of handy to be able to lock stuff up in your truck, but when you need something out of it, it's a royal pain in the ass to get anything out of it because the truck is so high. I'm 5'7", 5'8". If I open this lid, I can't really reach anything in there, so I end up having to climb up into the back of the truck. I would almost throw this in the garbage can, this toolbox. I actually like just a simple lightweight camper shell over the back. I'd run one of those on here sometimes. But that gets into trouble when you want to haul something big, huge, like a four-wheeler in the back. So I struggle along with this, but I hate it. One thing I do like about this truck, and I would get this on a Homestead truck, is these steps. You can, they're not just for looks. These are heavy-duty sideboard steps, whatever you call them, running boards, I think. And they go all the way back the length of the cab. I wish they went all the way back to here. That would help reach into this box, but heavy-duty running boards, definitely I would suggest that. So, on the subject of towing, you can see I've got the utility trailer hooked up because we've got to haul some stuff back to town and we're bringing stuff. This trailer pretty much stays behind the truck all summer long. Either this is on there or our little camper trailer that you've seen. But so definitely you want a heavy-duty towing setup. And on a 1-ton truck, this bumper tow hitch will tow almost anything the truck will pull. It's very heavy-duty. I've pulled 13,000 pounds with this old piece of shit. More modern diesel trucks can pull a lot more than that even, but I added these just homemade mud flaps because the gravel, Alaska has a lot of gravel along the highways, a lot of road construction, a lot of gravel roads, and if you're throwing gravel at whatever you're carrying on your trailer, it'll destroy your trailer or your whatever you're carrying pretty quick. So I just made these these are mud flaps off of a semi truck, and made homemade mounts and bolted it to the anchors. Otherwise you can get a fancy dancy piece that goes in there. It costs you $400, but it hooks to your hitch, you can go to your truck shop and spend $400 or $500. I think these were $20 each. I probably don't have more than $50 in this setup, but that's the way you got to think with a Homestead truck. You're not trying to win a beauty contest with it. You're trying to get the job done. This one has, and you would want it to have, I don't know if you can see it, that 5-pin connection or 7-pin connection for hauling the camper trailer or anything that's got more electrical systems on it. And it also has the 4-blade hitch. That's for the little utility trailers or the electrical connection. But definitely pay attention if you're looking at a truck. Make sure that it has a towing package on it. You'll also want to get one with or install a brake controller, because that gets, if you're hauling a heavy load, you want trailer brakes. Anything over 3,000 pounds should have brakes on the trailer, and you've got to have a controller in the truck to control that. Since we're on the back of the truck, when I first bought it, the oil company, whoever owned it, put this on. I thought it was terrible, but it's actually one of my favorite things about the truck. It helps you when you're backing up because you can see through this tailgate. And it actually drops down lower than a regular tailgate, and it's tougher than a regular tailgate, and you can use it to climb in and out. So I like that. That's a little homemade thing somebody else did that I really dig. Now, still on the subject of towing, we at one time had a gooseneck trailer, and they're fantastic to maneuver. Much more easy to back a trailer in to a tight spot if it's a gooseneck. And so I installed a gooseneck hitch in this truck when we bought it. It's just a ball that you turn over and mounts in here, and it locks in with a pin underneath, but that allows you to haul a gooseneck trailer. So that was a few $100s and some time to put it in, but money well spent, because we built the first part of the driveway with the gooseneck dump trailer. That's why I put this in. But the gooseneck hitch is definitely a plus. And it's got the little safety hooks here for your safety chains. Also, I put this old school bed liner in here. These things are tough as hell. They're hard on your knees, like my knee is killing me right now, but makes things easier to slide in and out, and yeah, I like it. An old school. I think I got it for like 70 bucks from somebody's backyard and put it in. Old school bed liner. While we're in the bed of the truck, they almost never anymore, or they never give you a lot of convenient places to tie things down in the truck. So I installed these just to give me some tie downs. You can hook a cargo strap under here in the metal part of the bed, but it's a good idea to have all the hooks that you can find a place to put them to tie stuff down. So in here is a spare tire. Every car has a spare tire. Every truck has a spare tire. Make sure you have a spare tire in Alaska, because if you have a flat, which happens once in a while, and you're 150 miles from town and you don't have a functional spare, or let's say you've got a spare and you have a flat and the damn thing is flat because you haven't checked it in years, then you're screwed. It's $1,000 at least to get towed from 150 miles to town. So maintain your spare tire. If you're going way out, way up north or something, take 2 spare tires. Take an extra spare, a spare. Same thing on the trailer. Always have a spare tire for your trailer. I also carry spare bearings for the trailer, a spare set, and a little grease gun. Beautiful wife over there just reminded me that I should warn you. Maybe you already know this, but You know, we carry the roadside assistance coverage that they sell you with your insurance policy. And it's cheap. It's like $15 a year per vehicle, and it'll get you towed in town. But about 6 months ago, we had a part break in the engine of the truck. It wasn't serious. It was easy to fix, but I called our our roadside assistance. This was Safeco, but I think they're all about the same. And they would tow me for, I think it was 15 miles. And after that, it was basically I'm on my own. So the towing bill, they estimated $1,100. We were 124 miles from town. It was Sunday night. Like, where the hell are they going to tow me 15 miles, you know? But luckily I had a friend to bring us a part, and I got the truck going later that night. But if you're going to be doing great distances through Canada, across Alaska, you need to look at some of the more robust roadside assistance services. And also, you got to carry tools. I wouldn't have been able to fix this truck that night at 1 o'clock in the morning if I didn't have the tools with me to fix it. So you carry a few tools, just a few things. Pliers, screwdrivers, headlamp, set of wrenches, set of sockets. A few years ago, I was stepping out of the back of this truck, and I stepped onto this bumper. And this was before I had this anti-slip tape on here, this grit tape. And my foot slipped off the bumper, and I almost went backwards head first into the pavement, and my life flashed before my eyes. It was that damn close. I was able to catch myself right here by grabbing that. I'm lucky I didn't slice off a finger in here on this stuff, but the very next day I went and got some of this anti-skid tape and put that on the bumper. And be aware of that. I mean, I've said before, we're 170 miles from town, 170 miles from the nearest hospital. You got to think about safety at all times out here, and how to respond if you get hurt, but also how to prevent getting hurt. So, moving around to the front of the truck. I think you've probably picked up on the fact that the theme here is towing. Probably one of the handiest things I've put on this truck is a front hitch, because we do a lot of close positioning and maneuvering of trailers, especially over here. We don't have a lot of parking at the little homestead, so a hitch on the front of the truck makes it a lot easier to push a trailer right into position. You can be a lot more accurate with it. You don't even really need somebody to spot for you if you're trying to stab it in somewhere really tight. Front hitch, huge plus. This cost like less than $200 actually. I got it from AutoZone. They FedExed it to me within a few days, and you know, a little bit of a project to put it in, but it's just the hitch that that's the receiver that I put in. You can switch the ball. We have a bicycle rack that you can put in. Just plug, if you're towing a trailer, you can't put the bicycle rack on the back. It plugs right into here, so I can carry couple bicycles in the front if I really wanted to. This bug deflector somebody gave me, I think they help. I think they help keep the rocks. In Alaska, your windshields don't last very long with gravel spray coming up at you, but I think this thing actually helps deflect the rocks up away from the windshield. It's something I do to all my vehicles, but especially in Alaska. I don't know if you can see it in there, but when I get the vehicle, even a brand new vehicle, I get a piece of window screen material and I attach it inside the grill right there with some wire or zip ties, whatever I can do, and that catches most of. We get a lot of, well, we get shitloads of mosquitoes up here, and at certain times of the summer we get a cotton that blows in the air, and it totally will plug up your radiator. So I put this screen in here. It stops also rocks that can hit your radiator. But you know, and then once a year, whenever I do like the fall maintenance, I'll clean that off, maybe take a shop vac and vacuum the bugs and the cotton off of it. But definitely costs almost nothing to do and saves you a lot of hassle. Can save you a lot of hassle. Actually makes the vehicle cool better too if you're all plugged up with bugs and cotton in there. What this is a diesel. It is You know, they say it's a very dependable, one of the most dependable vehicle, or they say it's one of the most dependable diesel engines that's been made. They don't make them anymore, but this is called a 7.3 diesel. It's basically like I don't even think Ford made it. I think it's International Harvester. It's a tractor engine. They use them in a lot of school buses and smaller dump trucks and stuff, but this thing has really not failed us. It does have its quirks. It does have oil leak problems once in a while, but I keep it as maintained as I can. I haven't had anything major go wrong with it so far, but that's because I baby it. And we bought a diesel because we were pulling a heavy trailer at one time. We had a tractor loader backhoe, needed to be able to pull 13,000 pounds, and my gas engine truck just wasn't going to do that all the time, so that's why we got this as a diesel. I think if I had it to do over at this point, I don't have the tractor, we sold it. So would I get a diesel again? No, not in my current situation. Is I don't have to pull anything all that heavy. We sold the tractor, so I don't have any plans to pull anything that weighs 13,000 pounds anymore. There are some advantages to the diesel, especially if you get one that has a reputation for longevity. This particular one, the 7.3, has a reputation for going 500,000 miles without major failure, and so I'm hoping for that, of course. But you know, sometimes diesel is more expensive than gasoline. Right now, currently this year, diesel's quite a bit less expensive than gasoline. It does get very good mileage. I get 18 miles to the gallon on the highway with this thing, and that's pretty good for a 7,500 or 8,000 pound truck. I used to get 18 miles to the gallon in my little Toyota truck. So, and then when you pull a heavy load, you still get very reasonable mileage with a diesel. In a gasoline engine, your mileage is going to really suffer when you pull a trailer. Some people say diesel engines are better for a homestead situation because diesel fuel is more stable. It lasts longer in storage, so you can keep a drum of it at your homestead. It's also less flammable, so if you were going to store some fuel for your truck, diesel is much safer to store. And this particular engine, it's old enough that if you had to, in a pinch, you could burn heating oil in it. It's illegal to do, but it'll burn heating oil. It's that old school. Nowadays you can't do that stuff with newer diesels, but I'm not a diesel mechanic, but yeah, there are some advantages and some disadvantages. The big disadvantage I see is that when they break, you better get out all your credit cards, because diesels are expensive as hell to fix. The fuel injectors go out, they're $300 to $500 each, times 8, you're talking $5,000 just to change the fuel injectors in it. You know, there's other parts in there, the high pressure oil pump, there's other parts that can really rack up a bill. I had to take the turbocharger out of this one last summer because of an oil leak. Parts didn't cost all that much, but Jesus, it was a nightmare to get it in and out, because it's crammed way up in here, up under the dashboard, and there's no room. You can't even see what you're doing back there. It's all by feel. I mean, that's not a diesel thing, that's just how a lot of cars are built. But hopefully I never have to take the turbocharger out again, because yeah, it was ugly. I do keep up with maintenance, like I say. If you want to make that thing last long, if you want to get that 500,000 miles out of it, I change the oil every fall. I don't give a shit how many miles are on it. I never go, like, you can run the oil 10,000 miles, but I never let it go that far. I just do it in the fall because the truck does not fit in a standard garage. It's too long. It's a double cab long bed. So I do it in the fall just to freshen up the oil before winter, because I know I can't bring it in the winter and do it. And so that's kind of my routine. Is I don't, you know, even if only 3,000 miles went by on the truck, I change the oil in the fall before it gets cold outside. One big disadvantage, I think, with a diesel engine is if you're trying to live off-grid and in a cold climate like Alaska, you have to preheat a diesel engine. You absolutely have to plug it in. Every vehicle in Alaska has an engine block heater, and usually there's battery bank heaters. But if you're living off grid, you've got nothing really to plug it into except running it off your generator. It pulls a lot of electricity to preheat an engine like this. Probably a total of about 250 watts, and you're going to have to do that for several hours on a really cold night. I will plug this truck in because I baby it. I'll plug it in if it's any colder than 25 degrees. I plug it in for a little while. If it's 0 or 20 below, I'll plug it in all night, just to have that oil warmed up when you go to try to start it in the morning. So diesel engines are much harder to cold start than gasoline engines, and for me that's a disadvantage for diesels. And so you can see that if you're not in Alaska or having looked under the hood of a vehicle here, but a lot of times they'll have this, you know, there's a trickle charger here. So when I plug the truck in to electricity, it goes to the block heater, but also there's a trickle charger that keeps my batteries charged up. There's also battery heaters, little plates on the bottom of the battery that keeps those a little bit warm. There's also a glue-on heater on the bottom of the transmission. It's an automatic transmission. A little bit of heat, preheating, helps that thing get going in the cold also. So there you have it, our Homestead truck. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, hit the like button and definitely subscribe. And please do put your comments down below. I'm sure there's a lot of, like I said, opinions. Everybody's got them. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. But put your comments down below. What do you find to be a useful feature on your Homestead truck? What do you find to be a big waste of time and money or pain in the ass? And let's have it out. Maybe we'll come up with the ultimate Homestead truck in the process. So I wanted to thank you for watching, and thanks for hanging out with us in far out Alaska. Is that an eagle? Yep, I think it is.